So, morning folks, welcome to the channel. I hope everyone is well. It's a beautiful day out there. It's kind of bright and cold, really clear sky, kind of hard frost, but wind has dropped a bit and stuff, so I think it's a little bit cold today for fishing, but you never know. I'm not certainly going to fish, but you certainly might have a chance. The water probably has cleared up a little bit, I would think. I'm going to take the dog for a walk around the estuary and stuff and have a little sniff around and see what's what. Speaking of which, kind of what I wanted to talk to you a bit about today, right? So rods. Like, how many rods do you need and how much do you want to spend on rods and da. It's all a very personal thing, right? But in Ireland, the trend is for kind of 9 foot, 10 to 35 gram seems to be the most popular, right? Now, if you're fishing that, like something like that, you're gonna have difficulty casting stuff like, this, which is the X layer on 7 gram batchy, etc. Or some of the smaller, like a small little needle, or even some of the smaller stick baits, right? So that's 4.5 inch fat do live, right? So one of your options is, like, if you do mostly coastal fishing or whatever, and you need your 10 to 35 because you're kind of hammering the coast and you're fishing into considerable wind and stuff, one of your options is to buy a much cheaper estuary rod, right? And I was looking at, I've had them here for a while, sold a couple of them. I got them in because I really like the rating, right? So it's the favorite X1, right? In 7 to 26 gram, right? And those are retailing for, let me just put that up there. Those are retailing for €89, right? Now, let me just split the rod so you can see the tip and see how fine it is, right? Like, they're like for €89, they're incredibly well engineered, right? I just want to see if I can show you how fast of a rod it is. Now, there is a heavier version of this as well. I actually sold a couple yesterday, right? But if I go back here now a little bit, sorry, because the room is full of stuff, right? But you can see, like, look at the poking in that, right? It really is stiff as a poker, right? So it will deal with much lighter baits for you. So, and particularly early in the season, I'm going to be fishing smaller stuff, right? Because there's smaller stuff about, so I'm going to be fishing this guy quite a bit. It's the Madness Mad Eel 90, right? Because those little pin sand eel and stuff show up, or duo drag metal 20 gram, which, like, if the sprat or anything are in there, particularly in the river here behind me, gets full of absolutely full of sprat. And it's one of the times, actually, one of the lads who was here last night, Graham, asked me, what do you do when the bass get focused on the sprat, and well, the answer is I try and match the hatch as best I can, because it's just like small metal, right? Certainly the slow jig, the drag metals from Duo are lovely. The Fish US do lovely metals that will imitate those small little, there's all sorts in it. There's not just sprat, there's all sorts of different types of sprat come into the river here. But if you've got something small and silvery, or I can drop down and use, let me see, these are just a thing of beauty, right? Absolutely just love these lures, right? a little 4-inch one-up shot, right, from Soamura. But if you're going to fish that way, you're going to be fishing quite light jig heads and stuff. So if you're getting started, or you've been at it a year or two and you've got like a reasonably good rod or whatever, but you fancy trying something different, like there's a lot of talk at the minute about creature baits. Have I got any creature baits to hand? Ah, yeah, there's one there, right? So a lot of talk about these guys, right? So you're definitely not going to want a big, thick, heavy, you're going to want something that's very light and very responsive to fish those, because you fish those very slowly. Okay, so the retrieve is just like, well, you can dead stick them, right, which is just literally let them sit there and wobble around, especially if there's a bit of current, or kind of lift and then just let them fall back down, right? So almost like a sinking draw, but very, very gentle. And I've had great success with them. But you're going to need a rod that's actually able to do that. And honestly, I don't know how Favourite managed to produce a rod like that for the money that they're selling them for. But they did. And they're just smashing. I fished, I have two that I use for the boat, right? Because I learned my lesson the hard way. Bringing good rods, like it's only a small little boat at the minute, right? It's T38 Honwave, little rib sib, semi-inflatable, and with an inflatable keel, right? So it's totally rubber boat, but with an aluminium deck, right? And you bring in expensive rods into that boat, you're just asking for trouble, like, that's my good friend Brad. I'll tell you, he sat on my rods. At least I didn't break it for a change, right? But usually they used to be known as here's break the rod, right? I broke that many rods. So I just wanted to throw that out there. It's an option, right? You don't have to spend a fortune on rods. Like, bass don't care what rod you're fishing with, right? The main thing about rods is that they do the job that you want, right? And I have yet to find the rod that will do everything. It just doesn't. It just doesn't exist, right? So the option is like, like, why spend 600 quid, like, or 200-300 euro or 400 euro rods, when you don't need to. I know you can see collections of rods behind you, right? But that's over years, and like lots of them in truth were mistakes, like, I shouldn't have bought them, like, but I wanted something new and shiny, and I was working hard in academics and trying to cheer myself up, probably, to be honest with you. So anyway, and in terms of lures, like, lots of lures are very, very expensive, and lures are getting more and more expensive, right? Um, which I'm not particularly happy about, like, obviously. And I understand it costs a lot of money to get stuff across the water and everything else, but, some stuff is kind of getting beyond the reach of the average man, right? But I wanted to show you a lure. So that's the estuary shad, 140. Quite a big lure, right? So here it is. That's in green silver, or green silver, or whatever. Yeah. And there it is in IU, right? I think that's called IU. But a very natural sand eel color, right? And you can see it just fits lovely onto the rolling head. That's a 10-gram rolling head from Exorus, right? Now those are cheap, and if you look, it's huge tail, so you can have no problem just getting your little rattle in there, right? We can debate all day about whether you need to make a hole or not. It doesn't matter. Do it whatever way you want, right? But I like to use a little drill bit, just so it's nice and neat and everything. And because I like to have my baits prepped before I go out fishing. It's kind of half the fun, actually. It's kind of getting ready to go fishing, right? It's like, this stuff, right? The fishing gear and stuff, like, some of it you need. Like, you absolutely need it. I need, anyway, a peak cap. Otherwise, I can't see a thing. Now, these guys are fantastic. I mean, they make lovely stuff, anglers only. But Brexit, unfortunately, has made it incredibly difficult to. No, I don't know how we're going to get around it, but we're going to try and find a way. Um, so yeah, I just wanted to throw those couple of things out there, and I got lots of stuff finalized on my website yesterday. So it will definitely be within a week. I will be live. I don't want to go live until I have another order of stuff coming in, and I've got some really cracking stuff. I've got an absolute classic coming in, the DC-12. Now, a lot of them are pre-sold, and they are serious money either way. But it is literally, is it my favorite? Yeah, it probably is actually my all-time favorite hard lure, to be honest with you. If I had to pick, it would be between that and the X140 from Megabass, right, which is now called the Cockeye 140. For some reason, they decided to change the name. I don't know why. X was totally fine with me, but they changed it or whatever. But it's the exact same lure. I mean, the action on the X140 is superb, and the action on, I mean, the Tarifa, literally, it just scoots, I mean, 50 centimeters down. It's just so, it'll run so shallow. You can fish it like if you're in the boat or something, and like it's a really shallow reef, you can just underarm flick it over, and and it's got such that really classic duo action. And of course, all duo lures are hand painted. I mean, if you get onto YouTube and look up Duo Factory or whatever, and watch them making the lures, fascinating. Like, they're all hand painted, and like, how do they do it? Because they make a hell of a lot of lures, right? Yeah, that's it this morning. Not much more to report. Like, I'm in good form. Health is improving all the time. Everything is going well. So just have a great day, everybody, and have a think about it. And if you decide that you want to try some of that lighter estuary fishing, give me a shout. I've got some of those X1s still available, and they're a steal at that money. I can think of rods that cost me twice as much as that easily, and weren't half as good. Weren't even in the same league. I sold one to a chap recently for the kayak. I think it's 7'1", and he's just chuffed with it. He's like, Jesus Christ, I can't believe this only cost me 80 whatever quid. So they really are. It's not just me trying to plug my kit or whatever. They really are actually really good value for money. So not that I'm not trying to plug my kit. That would be totally dishonest. I obviously am. Like, at the end of the day, I'm trying to make money too, right? Yeah, and that's it. So we did a little write-up of the show, and I posted yesterday some of the video from it. Just a questions and answers session. The recording wasn't great, but we didn't have great equipment with us or whatever. So hopefully, I might do the circuit a bit this year. I might do a few other shows and get stalls at them and stuff, and set up and see how we get on. Yeah, other than that, look, things are getting better. We're getting closer and closer to spring. So I don't know about you, but I'm getting excited. It's great. So tight lines, everybody. Stay well, and anything you need, stay in touch. Okay, be good, everyone. Bye bye.